We say in BeBelle, be supportive, be positive, be kind, and this lady ticks all of the boxes. I can't wait for you to listen to this episode with the fabulous Katrina Kelly. This series of BeBelle podcast is brought to you by award-winning skincare brand, Irish-founded, female-founded Ella & Jo by the amazing Charlene Flanagan and Neve Ryan. I will tell you more about Ella & Jo during this episode. So welcome, Katrina Kelly.
Thank you, Sharon.
Very excited. I'm sorry, and I actually kept Katrina waiting, so I have to apologise. Apologies for that. I couldn't get the last person to shut up.
Don't be worrying. I was inside in the toilet styling my hair because I still have my Emerald Park little tag on. I've literally just come from Emerald Park, got changed in the car, and while I was waiting on you, I was like, I'm going to go over my hair. That's what I
Fair
did.
play. Well, it looks fabulous. Well done, girl. So, a nice busy morning then.
Yes.
Absolutely. Today, obviously, is all about you, your story, and how we've got to the position that we're in today.
Yeah.
So, where did it start for you? Where were you born?
I was born in the Rotunda Hospital in Dublin.
Okay. Very popular Rotunda.
It's the best. A good, are we Northside? Yeah, a good Northside hospital. But the Rotunda Hospital, by my mum and dad, Evelyn and Kevin. So my mum was, she was just somebody who was always kind of on the go, always busy. She used to work in the Savoy Cinema.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, she was one of the cashiers in the Savoy Cinema, and my dad was a footballer. So two of them were just it was just, when I look back at the photographs of them, you know, there's like loads of photographs of them, you know, years ago they used to take these photographs in O'Connell Street.
Yes.
And you'd be just walking down. And I've loads of photographs of my mum and dad. They're black and white, and they're like the Beckham. So I was like, just loved it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And how many siblings?
I have two brothers.
Older or younger?
Older and younger. So my older brother Kevin, he's actually home now. He's in Canada, and my younger brother is in Ohio in America.
Wow.
Yeah, they both played ice hockey for Ireland.
Okay.
So that's how they ended up over in America and Canada, because there was meant to be an ice rink built in Dublin. It never happened. So they had to
back it off.
Yeah.
Fair play to them for doing that.
Yeah.
So middle child, is there a little bit of middle child syndrome going on there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am a middle child. True and true.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I thought me and my mum openly talk about it. I genuinely thought my mum loved the boys more than she loved me.
Okay.
So there was loads of emotion around that. I didn't like being left out. And it's mad because I did bring some of that into, situations in work or different things until I start working on myself, and then I realised, okay, it's not about you sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
And is there big gaps? How many?
Yeah, so Kevin, there's 2 years between me and Kevin, 18 months. And
Perfect.
then Dean, there was 8 years between me and Dean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were you like growing up? Were you obviously the boys are sporty, so were you sporty too?
Yeah, I was into everything.
Okay.
And it's funny as well, like I say, anybody who's followed me on social media for a long time will, I'm a real trier. But the problem was I would try things and sometimes I'd move on to the next thing, so not finish things. And it's mad because my career now, I'm still hairdressing. Do you know what I mean? I'm still doing it. And I am on my 30 years. I'm 50. I was 15 when I started, so I'm 44 now. So how many is that? How long is that?
15 to 44. But if you were 44 to 30, so it's 29.
29. Close to 30 years. So I've stuck at that. So that's one thing that I'm like, wow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely, I was into dancing. I loved hip hop. I loved, I did tap dancing.
Did you? I did tap.
Yeah, did you?
Love the tap.
Yeah. I kind of just did one season. I was a very seasonal person.
So
do you know what I mean?
give it a try.
I was in ballet as well. Did a season of ballet. Hip hop I kind of stuck for a while.
Okay.
And then I did basketball. I was really into sport as well. Yeah. Kickboxing.
Did you do kickboxing? Yeah. Okay, I'm not messing with you. Okay,
I'm a Northsider, it's important.
Yeah. But did you because I love team sports.
Yeah.
And I think it was that social element.
100%.
Love being part of a team.
Yeah.
And so at school, I would concentrate really on that, to be honest. I wasn't super academic. I got what I needed.
Yeah.
But I loved school.
Yeah.
You'd loved school.
I loved the creative side of school.
Yeah.
I had a couple of teachers who were just, I was definitely somebody who was a creative learner. So if I had a teacher who would come down and show me how to do things and would give me time and have patience with me, I was brilliant at those subjects. So I was brilliant at history, because of my teacher. I was brilliant at maths because of my teacher. And I obviously, you know, you do have a flair with things as well. But my business studies, I failed. And my teacher at the time, I remember I was just laughing. I love having fun. Yeah. So I was laughing. But, and there was a few of us laughing in the class, but I was put outside. And again, that usual saying years ago, you'll amount to nothing if you carry on like this and everything else. And the business studies thing is something that I've always, and maybe it is why I have a business as well today, but it's always something that I've had to really deeply learn through as well. But I love that.
But do you find though as well, because they didn't have business studies when I was at school, but I don't think you can learn it from a book.
Yeah.
I really don't think you can because we learn from all the mistakes and the failures and everything. And it's so much more fun learning on the hop.
Yeah, and you know, like that, even down to what I've discovered with myself is when I'm in the journey of whatever I'm doing, that's the most important part to me. So I try my hardest to really just enjoy being in the journey. And when you're in the depths of it, you know, when things are going wrong, like that's where I'm like, Katrina, this is where you're at your best, even though I'm crying.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm crying and I'm not sleeping.
We don't show the crying all the time.
But I know that I'm like, this is where I'm at my best because I know I just need to keep going and keep moving. Yeah. And that's the essence of like when you start to think, oh my God, I'm a genius because something works out. Do you know what I mean? But it's just that you didn't give up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you've learned from it. I am so good at business now. Probably the best I've ever been at business now compared to when I started. When I started, I was a hairdresser, opened up a salon going, woohoo, I have a business. Yeah. Hadn't a clue, but I just loved it. And I loved what I was doing. And I loved the innovation of like, you know, what can I do next? But I hadn't a clue about business.
It's mad, isn't it, actually? Because obviously I had a beautician's actually for 8 years.
I never knew that.
Yeah. But I wasn't, I trained to be a beautician to open the beauticians. I came from business. Yes. So actually then I never did a treatment on anybody in the 8 years. I used to do some nails sometimes if someone was sick or whatever.
Yeah, so you understood the business side.
So I was from the flip. Yeah. So the minute I opened in 2008, the beauticians were ringing me saying, can you come in and help us with that bit? Yeah. Because they recognised where their weakness was. So you obviously always knew that was your passion. When you start something at 15 and you're still doing it. But was there a day, can you remember when you were young and then you went, I want to be a hairdresser?
No, I actually wanted to be an actress.
Okay.
And in 1995, I said to my mum, this summer I'm getting a job, I'm not going back to school. Yeah. I just wasn't loving school. I actually felt there was... I like that as well. I was probably comparing myself to other people. Do you know, like some of my friends, they were doing really well. And I was definitely struggling in school. Wasn't enjoying it. And I said to my mum, I really want to leave. Like, I'd love to. I told her I wanted to be an actress or whatever. And she said, look, you're not going to be an actress. You can when you're older, but you need a good job, like a proper job. She was calling it a proper job. Because at that time, she didn't mean it, but at that time, she was very much like, you need a trade in her eyes. So she said, you can be a hairdresser if you want. So I was like, okay. So I went and I was after getting accepted into the Gaiety School of Acting. Didn't even do anything about it because I ended up getting a job this particular day up in Cat's Hair Group up at the Westbury Hotel. And I got the job and it was just, it's funny now, like how the whole acting thing that I really wanted to be comes to play, you know, on a salon floor. Because you could be inside anything. Shit is going down at any moment with anything, and you have to walk in and be like, hey, how are you? Yeah, all right, what can I do? Because it's about the client then. So that kind of comes into it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, so because you can't be walking out all the time and giving out about whatever's been happening. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so I don't know. Who knows? I might end up being an actress at one stage.
You'd be surprised how the 360 comes around. I always say, you know,
like, I was in Fair City as well. I just in the background. Yeah, I did a few little things, but no, I love hairdressing. I love being around women. I love helping women. I think I get that from my mum. I seen my mum always chasing her tail, never putting herself first. Do you know what I mean? Like always putting other people first, and then raging. She said, like, you know, she'd say yes to everybody else and no to herself. Yeah. And I'm like, if you're saying yes to everybody, you're saying no to you. Like, do you know what I mean? So I got that from her.
Do you think we've got better at it? I still struggle with a lot of women that come to me. They're still quite low on that ladder.
Yeah. I do think we've gotten better. Yeah.
Okay.
I do think we've gotten better. And I think there's definitely, we're all starting to understand boundaries and know what they are. Like when I'm even, and I think this is why I work so hard on myself as well. When I'm in the salon and I'm talking to women, like I love to be able to give advice without being a therapist though as well, because sometimes you're kind of like, do you want me to give you advice? Or, you can't always offer and try and fix people's problems, but you can't help it too as well if you kind of know something. So my advice is to any women out there, fill your Google Calendar first with your own stuff. So when somebody goes to ask you, it's so easy to say, oh, I actually have this on.
Yeah.
I'm getting pedicure done that day. Oh, sorry, I'd love to getting my pedicure done. So, and I say that to my mum. My mum does that now to herself. Like she fills her own calendar in first for her own bits and pieces. And then it's easy to say,
absolutely. It's already full.
Yeah. Or you're just like, no. No is a full sentence, as they say.
Yeah, I love that expression.
Yeah.
Actually, where did I hear that? I heard that some of the other day as well. It was amazing.
I actually shared it on my stories. I think it was last week. But there was a guy and he came into the well,
I just remember where I heard it from.
Where?
Who's the Cork football player? Oh my God. I always forget this guy's name.
Cork.
And I watch
football player.
I watch his podcast.
I don't even know the Irish.
Twice a week. And I never remember his name. But he used to play for Man United. And
my dad had trials for Man United.
Okay.
Probably know each other.
So, yes, he said that the other day. And I was like, God, that's such a good... And it's so true, isn't it?
Oh, it's so true. I remember Brian Penny, he came into us. I don't know if you've heard of Brian Penny. Incredible book. He went through addiction and turned his whole life around. But we got him into the salon just pre-COVID, literally before COVID happened. And he did a big talk with us in the salon. It was absolutely amazing. He's from Blanchardstown, so really resonated with a lot of my team, and even myself. Like we've had family in addiction and in the depths of it, So he really resonated with us. But like he was teaching us all. He said, you don't have to say yes. You can actually make it funny and say nope.
Yeah.
And nothing after that. And I used to do that then, because anytime my team even asked me or anybody, I'd say yeah, but I'd then be like, oh, I'm raging because I need to do this. Or whereas then I'd be like, nope or nope.
I have a t-shirt made that says, sorry, I can't, but please don't hate me.
Yeah.
Because
but then we're still like saying,
I know,
but please don't hate me.
Please don't hate me.
Because I was a real people pleaser as well growing up. I was one of those people that would I wanted to make people happy. It's probably that middle child syndrome as well.
Absolutely.
I wanted to make people happy, but then I realised if I'm making other people happy, then I'm not making me happy. I have to be the happiest first.
Yeah.
And then I can spread that love on to other people.
Absolutely. It's Roy Keane that thought of that.
Oh, I love
Roy. I can't believe it. Honestly,
I was actually just thinking like a new player. I know Roy is
actually
the best.
a joke in our house because I'm obsessed with his podcast and I watch it. Constantly, but I can never remember his name. Anyway, sorry, Roy.
Do you know Roy? I'd love to meet him, Roy, if you're out there.
Well, I'm fine.
And I'd love my dad to meet Roy.
Yeah. I'd be fine. He's in Cork quite a bit, but I'm always fighting to go up to him because he doesn't like people going up to him. So I was like, leave it off. Actually, a parcel came through the door the other day, and I thought I opened it. And it was a T-shirt of Roy Keane, but like the Buddha.
Yeah.
And I thought my husband had bought it for me as a joke, but it was actually for him. And that's why it didn't fit. He's like, stop opening it. I said, well, it was addressed to me. But yeah, so you start at 15 in hair, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you get a graph for it day one? Like what,
I definitely think I was somebody who, like some people are these visual learners and they see something and they do it. I'm like that now, but I wasn't like that.
Okay.
I needed to see, I needed to do, I needed someone to show me where my elbow needed to be, my body position. I needed to write it down. Like that's kind of how I learned. I didn't even know that I learned that way either. I only kind of understood that when I had different people teaching me and I was like, oh, like I like how they teach, but I didn't even know why. And it was kind of like, oh, she actually has loads of patience with me, or she's shown me where my elbow is. So I had more, there's certain people that you end up having more light bulb moments with. And I just feel like they're the people you need to learn from. Do you know what I mean? Because
when you find them, you need to hold on to them.
Yeah. And I do think that's why I became an educator then. Do you know what I mean? And actually, I'm left-handed. And most of my teachers were right-handed. So I was actually learning to do a lot of hairdressing with my right hand and not my left hand. But then fast forward, when I became an educator, I was able to teach with my left hand and right hand.
I was going to say, if you become ambidextrous.
So I can use both hands for hairdressing. Yeah. And I can teach. So if there's someone in one of my classes and they're left-handed, I can show them with the left hand.
That's an unbelievable gift.
I know.
Yeah, my dad was ambidextrous.
I developed. Like it wasn't. And it was only just because all my educators were right-handed, and I just started to do it. Like so.
But can you remember at what point you went, this is going to be my vocation. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
For years, I think I still thought I was going to be Julia Roberts or Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
But then I I do know.
Enjoying it because it's not easy hairdressing. You know, I mean, it's tough. You've got your 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, until you then colorist. Then you know.
I think what happened was because I was 15 and I was hairdressing, and then I went to work away in Spain.
Amazing.
So I had a ball in Spain, put on 3 stone. I was eating kebabs at 3 o'clock in the morning, working in a bar. It was great. I loved it. It was fab. And then when I came back, I remembered there was a girl who she was going into hospital and she needed somebody to run her salon. And my mum was like, my Katrina could do that. My mum was just like, my Katrina could do that. So I just was like, look, I can help out or whatever. And because I was looking for, when I came back, I worked in booth photography. I forgot about that for a year in the Jervis Centre.
Do you remember the days?
Well, I used to, I don't know whether I'll get into trouble for this, but I remember somebody came in and they were getting Beckham photographs developed, and I made a copy of 2.
Oh, wow. From the wedding?
No, just like I was the developer.
Okay.
And I just happened to want a photograph of Beckham slipped into my bag.
Oh, well, never mind.
Years ago. But then after that, I ran a salon for a girl just around the corner. This salon was called Curl Up and Dye.
Fair play. Great. I love quirky names like
that. And I actually loved it. Like it was one of those salons, there was no appointment, so you'd have all these women arrive in and they'd be just sitting there for hours just waiting. I couldn't get my head around that. I was like, they'd come in looking for a blow dry and I'm like, there's nobody going to be freaking about, for another 3 hours. And they're like, yeah, we'll just sit and wait. And they'd just all be sitting there. I was like, chatting away. And then after that, when that lady came back, we opened the Herald newspaper one day and there was a salon for rent over in Glasnevin. And my mum was like, Katrina, there's a salon. Because I always said I'd open up my own business from the age of 15. I don't know why or where. I think that comes from my mum. She's very kind of like, you can do anything. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. But then she'd be like, but just be careful. So you had this kind of like, I can do it. And then I'm like, oh. Yeah. And I still have some of that where I'm running. And then I have that fear and I have to hold back. And I'm like, trying to feel the fear and just keep going. Do you know what I mean? Because it's still there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then I opened up my Glasnevin salon then. And
how old are you?
I was 22 when I opened up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is young.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I was like I feel like everything happened organically and evolved. But it was after when I came back from Spain and opened up my salon, I was just like, oh, I started to take things a bit more serious.
And it's one thing opening the salon and being the hairdresser and opening the salon. But again, then you've got to think you have to take people on. So then you become like a nurturer of those people and responsible for their livelihoods too. Yeah. That's a big responsibility at 22.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I started off, it was actually me and my mum. My mum did loads of hours for me. She was just really proud as well. She was just like, my daughter's salon, but she helped. And then I started off with one trainee and I liked that as well. Didn't even know what HR was. Didn't know. Yeah. Like everybody was getting their wages on the little brown
envelope.
Yeah. It's like, right now, what's PRSI trying to do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like do all of that. Like, so. And then the more your team kind of starts to grow, things can be great, but also problems start to occur and then you start to realize, there's always someone who's like knows their rights and employment rights, and you're kind of learning as you're going along as well. I know it's different nowadays, but back then there wasn't all those resources that there is now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like and I love team. I think it's going back to being, dancing and in sports, and I love the team.
And were you keeping up any of that sort of stuff, your hobbies and stuff, as you went into business?
I did a bit of dancing, kept a bit of dancing. Love a bit of dancing. And then I had Saturday night dancing as well. It was happening. Always. That was another thing I remember because I was still young. And I remember my friends were going off to Ibiza and I was like, bye. But I was still going out on Saturday nights. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there was loads of stuff that I did because I was still this party gal.
Yes.
Owning a business. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there was a little bit of that as well. I was having loads of fun. Like, I remember a couple of times coming into work hungover on my own business. Do you know that kind of way? And just thinking, oh no.
Extras in the cheeks.
Yeah, and you're just like you have to lead by example as well. Do you know? And that was one thing that I was like, right now I have to lead here, like, you know. And I love the leader that I am today. I love just keep getting better. I love getting to work fresh, and do you know what I mean? Like, and my team can rely on me.
It's not the only business you've been in.
No.
So like, at what point do you go, like, the hair's like doing its thing, happy with that? Should I try something else? Should we open another salon? Should I go educating?
Yeah.
Like, how do you maneuver through that? And how do you make the decisions you made? I want to say thank you so much to Ella and Joe, our sponsors of this episode of BeBelle Podcast. Ella and Joe is all about bringing a joy and vibrancy to skincare. Each product is inspired by nature and boosted by science, designed to deliver the most amazing results, but also to be kind to your skin. It is luxury moments that brighten up our day. And as always, I want to bring it back to me with my 2 hero products. The 3-in-1 Hyaluronic Spritz, it stays in my bag all the time. And if you haven't tried Melt Away, then it's a must. It's the most beautiful cleanser. And don't forget, all BeBelle listeners can get 20% off all full-size products online. Just use the code BeBelle at checkout. So thank you, Ella and Joe, for sponsoring this series of BeBelle Podcast.
I think loads of opportunities kind of just came. The more I put myself out there, the more I start putting myself out there, whether it's social media or I actually start entering competitions. And for 10 years, I didn't win. And I remember one of my friends saying, "Are you going to enter again?" I was like, "Yeah." And I know she was kind of like, "Okay, you keep losing." Do you know what I mean? But the following year, then I won. But because of that, I won them for about 4 or 5 years. And after that, people start asking me to educate. Yes. And then I started doing these courses and they sold out. I remember I did like 8 weeks of this. It was called Vintage Now. So it was upstyling courses with like a vintage but now twist. And like for 8 weeks they sold it. Like all of the courses sold out. And I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I loved it as well. Absolutely loved. There's just something amazing when you're educating somebody and they're, you know, and they get it. Yeah. And then you're teaching yourself. Because when somebody asks you a question, like, and everybody wants to know in a different way because they want to know how they need to learn it. So because they're asking you in a different way, you actually start to realise, oh, there's another way of doing this, and you can teach them, you know. So I love those little moments as well. And then with that came global brands, getting in touch then for educating with them as well. And I think you kind of develop it then once you have a team, then you have to give the team responsibility so you can go off into other ventures and stuff like that. And I love to move. I love moving and kind of learning and being around different people and teams as well.
It's variety as well, isn't it?
I learned from that as well.
But at what point do the children come?
So Darcy is 13 now and Lone is 9. They are just the best thing ever. Like honestly, they're just, you know, when you're, you know, they just make you laugh. Yeah. You know, when like there could be anything going on and they'll just make you laugh and you're just like, oh, this is what it's all about, you know. So Darcy was, let me see. So she came along when I still had the Glasnevin salon. And then Lone came along when I was due to open. No, I was open. Trying to think. Oh yeah, we were expanding our salon. We're moving over to Cabra. And Lone was about 8 months old. And I remember I had a premises and I got a phone call basically to say that the premises was no more, that the landlord wanted, I think, 6 months rent up front and it was key money. I found out anyway afterwards there was somebody else that was going to take it, you know. So I was like, that's fine. But I remember having Lone in the car that day as well. And I was ringing around and I was like, I need to find, like, what am I going to do? I had hired more people. I had hired more people. My team was grown and they were just like, you know, we can't just stay here in a small salon. So I just remember ringing my husband and he said, Katrina, just do what you normally do. You'll find something. So I drove around that day. I found a premises on that day. But it wasn't a salon. So I had to ring a guy that I know, David Donald. And I was like, David, I found a premises. I've no furniture. I need furniture. I will do education, whatever you need. He was like, look, we'll get on it. Got it sorted. But I remember at that time having, like, with the 2 kids as well, it was like what you were saying earlier on, like, you know, taking on too much. I was launching a push makeup brand that year as well. I was doing so much. And that's when I was in the height of like mom guilt as well. I was really kind of, do you know what I mean? Like really kind of like, I don't know, like I just remember even with Darcy, like say the first 5 years of Darcy's life, I like absolutely, I just loved her. But I feel like when I was getting home from work, you know, I was just really stressed. I didn't realise, but I was really, really stressed. And, you know, when she'd say to me, Mom, can you play, you know, like, you know, oh, can you read a book to me? And I'd only be in from work.
Yeah.
And instantly I'd be like, in a minute, I'm literally just in from work. I'll play with you now in a few minutes, you know, and that would kind of go on and on and on. And, you know, you'd be doing other things and be trying to chase your tail. And I remember actually listening to a podcast there a couple of years ago. And I remember a guy said that he's never too tired for his kids. And in my head, I was like, man, of course, do you know what I mean? Like, but it stuck with me. And I had read a book as well. And it was about like, you know, changing the word from I have to I get to. So I never say, I have to collect the kids from school or I have to do this. I always say I get to. So anytime, you know, the kids ask me to do something, I say, I get to read a book now. I get to. And that word just changed my life. And like literally after Darcy was 5, that's when I feel like I was really present within my kid's life. Do you know that way? Like full on present. Like I'd still say I was a great mammy. Do you know that way?
Yes.
Like, but like being really present and like that. I love being an entrepreneur. I love the business. I love having a team. Nobody matters more than my kids.
Yeah.
Do you know? But if I have to bring them to work with me, they're coming to work. They're actually walking around here while we're recording this. And like they are my life and they're part of my life. But I also have my own life as well. Do you know that way?
I think that I get to is like madly important. You were the person actually that I first saw say that. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. It's an absolute game changer, isn't it?
One little word.
Yeah.
Because think about when you're saying I have to, like even now when I say I have to, my shoulders curl. I'm just like, oh, I have to do a school run. Whereas now I'm like, I get to do a school run, let's go. And it's just a difference. And we do get to do it. We're very lucky. Do you know what I mean? I know how lucky I am. I'm so lucky to have 2 healthy kids. I'm so lucky that I get to collect them from school. I get to be there with them. I get to read them a story. I get to give them a bath or a shower. Like they're getting older now. They're like, Mommy, don't give me baths anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, and get to do that.
No,
it's special.
It's
not forever.
It's a gift, isn't it? And so your second child arrives. You're moving. You're sorting out this. You also decide to launch a makeup brand. Yeah. Like what? Where did that come from?
So I originally wanted to launch a hair brand, and makeup was just easier.
Okay.
So I took the easier route. I was doing makeup anyway. Yes. So we did hair makeup in the salon. I had done a makeup course years ago. And I loved the 2 of them. And again, going back to women, I think, you know, seeing my mum probably not, you know, she'd get stuff done if she was going to a wedding. She wasn't getting stuff done on a weekly basis. Whereas I had all these women come into my salon. They were getting their blow dries done every week, you know. And I know, like, we're up at the Westbury salon, like, you know, it is different as well. You know, my mum's background compared to, say, some of the women that were going into Westbury's background was totally different. You know, so my mum they learned to kind of look after everybody else and not themselves, you know. So hair and makeup, like I kind of love the 2 of them together as well. You know, that you were able to kind of do that for women when they were going somewhere. They could get the hair and makeup done in the one place when they're going somewhere and not go from place to place. Now, we don't do makeup now, but the makeup side of things, I wanted to do a hair brand. I wanted to do a brand and I was thinking hair and makeup. And then the makeup I found just a bit easier. Yeah. But I actually think it was because I wasn't known as a makeup artist.
Okay.
I was known as a hairdresser. And I felt, now when I look back, I actually think in my head, if I got the hair brand wrong, do you know what I mean? In my industry, so I do think there was like
protecting yourself in a 100%. Weird subconscious way. Yeah.
But
Isn't
also,
that funny?
I do like making mistakes. So every mistake or every no I get, to me now, it's one step closer to the yes, or one step closer to getting it right. Yeah. Whereas for years I'd make a mistake or I'd get a no and I'd ask somebody and then I'd have that fear and I'd kind of stop.
Yeah. Whereas, and product is so much different from service.
Completely different.
Actually, I've still got my my Push makeup, and one of the lipsticks that I bought from you years ago. I can't throw it away because every time I wear it, people go, amazing.
I have a Push Cameo lip pencil on me at the moment.
Yeah. It's mad though, isn't it? But what did you learn from that?
I learned that you cannot do it all on your own. Yeah. So I was trying to do everything. I was trying to be the distributor. We were doing like Push makeup masterclasses. They're really good. But what I actually discovered was I know what I'm good at. Yes. I'm good when it comes to brand design. I'm good when it comes to innovation. I'm good when it comes to kind of product picking or formulas or like making sure that it's the right ingredients to get the job done. That's what I'm really good at. And I'm good about talking and being passionate about the brand. I am not good around financial forecasting for the brand. I am not good at even I'm working on a hair brand at the moment for the last 3 years. So we will be launching. It's innovative, so it's taken time, but I'm so proud of it. But because of that as well, because of Push Makeup, I realised there was loads of people who wanted to buy it and get it into their salons, and I literally started to crumble because I was like, oh, I don't know what the next step is.
Okay.
So it's just so important to have people around you that know their job and know what those next steps are, and then you can really focus on what you do.
And when you made the decision to stop that, I suppose, like how I read an article the other day, and actually I had a chat about it on the radio the other day about the word failure, and I was like, a gentleman had written an article about the business that he started. It wasn't going where he wanted it to, and he stopped it. And it was like, this is important to talk about the failures. And I was like, I couldn't see a failure in there.
Yeah.
I could see an experience.
100%.
I could see something he'd learned so much.
Yeah.
He's got a successful business, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, you gave it a go. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about it?
Like that as well. Like there was those moments of kind of thinking, oh, it is a failure, because you're seeing other people like bringing, brands, and they're moving forward, and you can't help at times compare.
Yeah.
So anytime I kind of did that, I was like, oh, Katrina, you need to work on yourself, love. It's not anybody else. You have to work on yourself. Like if you're comparing, take it back. So, and that's what I did. I just took control of like working on myself, and I always do that. But I had to go deep, really work on myself. And like around the business side, I had worked on myself for self-development, but there's also, I definitely think, business development, self-work to do as well. Do you know that way?
Yeah. And when you say you worked on yourself, like what decisions did you take at that time to do some work on yourself? Because lots of people do lots of different things.
Therapy, meditation, breath work. Therapy, I'd say therapy and meditation was probably one of the best things I ever did.
Okay.
Like it literally, because for me, meditation, and again, I don't do it enough all the time, but I do breathe every day.
Yeah.
And to me...
Well, hopefully.
Most days I do breathe. But like I take everything back to my breath. Like, so if I feel my shoulders are tight, I'm like, close my eyes, I'll breathe in, breathe out. And like that is what meditation really is. Do you know
Absolutely.
that way? Like, so even when your mind is going elsewhere, you just bring it back to the breath, and that's your meditation. But meditation created an awareness around me, and I was able to, like, you literally can listen to your voices when you start to meditate, because it zones you out, and you can hear what you're saying to yourself. It's not all good.
No.
It's not all good. Do you know what I mean? So, so the meditation really helps. That was a big change. I got some life coaching as well, and career coaching. Again, that helps you guide and make your own decisions as well.
Yeah.
So that was really good as well. That made such a difference to me, But I definitely think therapy, meditation, all the deep stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The deep stuff that we don't always want to do, but we know, like, self-reflection is the best.
Yes.
Like, even in any situation, even with my team, I'll say to them, if a client complains, it's so easy. It's actually easier to say, that's not what they asked. Or, they asked for something this, or no, sorry. It's so easy to say, well, that's what they asked for. It's harder to be the one to say, how could I have been better in that situation? Yeah. So if you can self-reflect, and I do that all the time. Sometimes it's bad because you could be self-reflecting when someone was actually nasty or did something. Do you know what I mean? And they're not someone that can self-reflect. But for me, I'll always self-reflect in any situation, think, right, what could I have done better to improve how I acted there? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to say, it wasn't my fault. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Or it's always somebody else's is a problem.
And then you're in that
never
blame cycle.
Yeah.
Blaming. Like, if you're like someone who constantly blames, you're just going around in circles. But life is hard at times. Why make every day hard? Do you know what I mean? So, but Push Makeup, I definitely, I just knew. I kind of knew it was time. Do you know? I was just like, I wanted to focus back on the salon as well. And there was so much going on in my life personally as well, Like, just there was so much. Like, I lost one of my best friends. And that was in 2019. Through addictions, and it was 3 months before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And she left an 11-year-old. Very sad. You know, so when you see things like that, like I remember we went up to the hospital to her and we actually thought she was at her worst. And being an influencer, I recorded a video of myself to show her, that like after she got better, I was going to show her this video of how distraught we were, and 2 days later she died. So I think we didn't think she was going to, but the hospital were telling us. So she died from through her liver. So it's, when you see your friend, I did her hair, makeup in the coffin, and I've done that for other people as well. And again, that just comes back to, helping others and, but yeah, when you see things like that as well, you have to live every day. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so important because life can be gone in a second, do you know? 100%. Like in those little moments of I get to bring my kids to school. I get to have those moments. I get to stay here with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, and have a lovely conversation. And, and there's so many people that don't get to do those things anymore. So, I never want to be in that blame cycle of what someone has done on me wrong or what's happened or there's just so many things that people have done in years, and I could sit and kind of give out about them. I don't want to do that. I'm just like, no. You know what? At that moment, they did what they needed to do. At the moment, I did what I needed to do. But let's focus on here and now and keep moving things forward. That's all I ever want to do, is just keep moving the needle forward. And that's going to be my hair brand.
Amazing. Is that the name?
The what?
Is that going to be the name?
No. That's actually a good name. Might change. No, the name, I'm dying to share it. I can't wait to share it.
Well, hopefully.
I can't, yeah. I'll show you. I'll show you though. I will.
Amazing. I'm super excited for you. So that's next in your business world.
Yeah.
And when are you hoping to launch?
We were hoping to launch last year now. We would like to be launching by Christmas.
Amazing.
Yes.
And so that's business. You see where you're going.
Yeah.
You're a fantastic educator. You have this great business. What's next for you?
For me, I'm really focused on getting fitter. I want to be my fittest at 50.
Okay.
Ever.
How long have we got?
So I'm 44, so I have 6 years.
Oh,
but
God.
I've already started the journey.
I was going to say, Jesus, she looks so fit. This is I'm just going to go.
I've already started the journey. But again, I see it as a long term. I'm in it for the long game. I don't want to do, years ago, I was looking back at photographs, and years ago, you'd be dieting for a holiday. And I'm just, I don't want to do that. I want to be healthy. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be skinny. I want to be healthy. I want to be toned, like strong, not even toned, strong. I started running again. And I'm in a running group, Castleknock running group, which I'm loving. So that's 2 days a week and loving that. And then just kind of making better choices. For hairdressers, we were always known as little smoke break, or that was your lunch nearly. Do you know what I mean? Or coffee and smoke. Now, thank God, I was definitely someone who changed a few things for us in the industry before.
Yes.
I'm not saying before other people, but I was like, I'm going to do this. I don't care what other people are doing. And one thing that we did was putting everybody's lunches and breaks in the salon. Do you know, it's so important to make sure that you have good food. And my husband's a chef, so he's been teaching me how to cook as well. So I'm loving kind of nutrition. And I just, I do like my glass of wine. I do, but I'm loving kind of just getting a bit fitter. I want to be, as the kids are getting older as well, I want to be able to, I want them to come on and run with me. Do you know that way?
Yes.
That's what I want. I want to be around for longer.
Yeah.
Do you know? So that's kind of that's what I'm kind of doing for me at the moment is,
And your husband is a chef, which makes life really great. Yeah. And how did you meet him?
Everybody says that, but sometimes he could be working 5 nights out of the week.
I know, yeah.
But no, I have to say, when he is there, he is you're just this is amazing. Yeah. I'm I'm not even going into the kitchen, babe. You can do it because he's there.
I chefed, I was a cook for a long time when I ran my pubs, and I still love cooking. That's my outlet. Yeah. That's when I relax.
Yeah, it's so nice, isn't it? I love cooking, and it's mad. I used to cook before I met Matt. So we actually met on MySpace years ago. Do you remember MySpace?
God, MySpace.
I know.
That's amazing.
I know. And we were friends for a long time. And then there was a time, I was single and he was single, and we were just pals. We just kind of send each other, how are you getting on or whatever. I just put in surfing one day because, again, me with my ideas, I'd love to try surfing. I want to be a surfer girl now. So I put in surfing. He was the first person that came up. There was a British flag beside him, and it was him and another guy. Didn't even know which one was Matt. Chatting to him or whatever, like, and and then he just picked up. He was like, "Oh, have you gone surfing yet?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, I'll have to bring you." And he was single and I was single, and then they put like little kisses at the end of our messages.
Yes.
So when we're getting married, I printed out all the MySpace.
Amazing.
We've loads of them. But that's how, And then when Matt came over, I had just bought an apartment, and Matt came over, and we were kind of back and forth long distance for 2 years, and then he moved over into the apartment, and he was cooking for me all the time. Because I remember for the first 6 weeks he didn't have a job.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'd come home from work and he'd have a bat ran for me, and he would have dinner. And I was like, this is amazing. And then obviously when he had to go to work, I'd be fuming because I was like, oh, no, there's no dinner.
So where's he originally from?
Cornwall.
Oh God, you did tell me before we came on.
Yeah.
Cornwall's stunning.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. And it's our second home over there as well. Do you know, we were only over there a couple of weeks ago.
You're lucky children.
Yeah. Oh, like, do you know, I was saying to Matt as well, that's another thing. Like, our kids are so young, and like they've been to Thailand, Cornwall, Portugal, America, Canada, all the places, because my brothers live over there
as well.
And it's hard. Like, Matt's brother lives in Thailand. It's hard because you don't see your family all the time, but you get to really fly and see different cultures and grow. Do you know that way? Like, so, and then when you are all together, you really do make the most of it. And I think there's so many families that are together all the time and they take each other for granted, do you know, because they're just there. Do you know that way? Like, so, and I try, even my mum and dad help us a lot with the kids, so me and Matt can work. So I try now, like, if I'll say to my mum, are you free? And if she's like, no, I'm like, that's fine. Like, I won't kind of put anything, I'm like, that's fine, I'll get it sorted, because I want them to be able to have their own lives as well. And they've helped us, do you know?
Yeah.
So, but I love that we've kind of different branches now all over the world, so.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah, different places to visit and see, and,
We're plotted around a little bit as well, but mostly UK and Ireland, but like we just all met in France. So, do you know what I mean? So, family's so important, and you sound like you've got a gorgeous one.
Yeah, I do.
I am super excited. No, I love it though, isn't it? Aren't we lucky? Touch wood, we're so lucky. But I'm super excited. I can't wait now for this launch. I'm going to be watching. I'm super excited as well because you have as many plans for yourself as you do for your business. And I think it's so important. Yeah. I'm not a believer that you can have it all. No. But we can do everything in our power to make everything better.
Do you know, actually, that's another thing as well, because I talk about the balance. And, I'm not stupid. I know you can't fully have balance. So, but how I see balance is being present. So if I'm with my kids, as long as I'm present, if it's 10 minutes with them, as long as I'm 10 minutes being present and listening to them.
Yeah.
Like, or my team come and they ask me something and I'm on my phone, I'm like, oh, hang on. And then I'm like, right, I'm ready to listen to you. That to me is balance. Yeah. Wherever you are, that you're present in those moments. And like, that's how you can have balance. And another thing that I was saying about like women, women were always expected to show up with their hair and makeup done, but we're never allocated extra time. And we do a lot. Yeah. Do you know, like we do so much. Like, so I definitely think for women, it's just so important to not feel mother guilt.
Yeah.
Don't feel guilt. Like, you're doing the best that you can. You are, and it's important that you do things that are for you, whether it's a career or whether, whatever it is, that you're doing something for you, because then you can show up better.
We have to be a little kinder to ourselves.
And then you show up better for all the people around you. So
no, amazing.
Be good to you first.
Yeah, I love that. Perfect way to finish. Katrina, thank you so much for
Thank
today.
You so much. It was amazing, Shan.
I love that. Thank you. So thank you for listening to this week's BeBelle podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on social media. If you've got any questions, then please don't hesitate to DM us at BeBelle_wellness. You can also find this on our YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel, Shan Horn. And don't forget, the more people that subscribe, the better that we can make this pod. So don't forget, like and subscribe across all channels. And thank you.